Gold, silver, precious metal mining stock investors, thank you once again for tuning in to Ron's Basement. I've got an update for you on the gold price, the silver price, and several other factors I think we need to remember, we need to consider when we evaluate the wisdom of our investments in gold, silver, and precious metal mining stocks. Let's get started right now. All right, guys, gold is hanging in there right at $18.50 per ounce. Silver is hanging in right at $22 per ounce. I don't know how you feel about this, but it feels like to me that both of the metals over the last maybe 2 to 3 weeks have been reestablishing a base of support, hopefully a base from which we can rocket in the coming months, weeks, years. We all know that the fundamental, the macro factors appear to be very supportive for the precious metals. But let's just dig into a couple quick facts. Let's remember this. Let's remember that this year, the precious metals have done pretty well when you compare them to like the S&P 500 down around 15%, the NASDAQ down around 25%. Let's not forget, these metals have, they've not skyrocketed, but they've done their job of maintaining their value. And I think it's easy for us to forget that they've maintained their value in the face of a very, very strong dollar. That's like going to a river and jumping in the river and deciding, you know what, I want to swim against the current. Gold and silver have been swimming against the current all year long as the dollar increased in value. That won't last forever. And on a side note from that, gold and silver price in most other major foreign currencies, the Japanese yen, the euro, is at or near all-time record highs. So it will only be a matter of time as the currencies rebalance that gold hits record highs in the US dollar. And yet another headwind that gold and silver faced so far this year was the fact that as the general markets, the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, went through their major corrections, that caused a need for liquidity in which many traders had to sell gold and silver to cover margin calls on their other positions, which were losing significant value. Yet another headwind that the precious metals fought against and maintained their value so far this year. And just 2 more final points for us to remember. Number 1, central banks are still buying gold. They understand most all of the significant players, the central banks in the world, are either holding significant amounts of gold and or are adding to their positions. And finally, let's not forget, there's a move. I'm not saying we're going to the gold standard. I don't know how you feel about that, but there's a movement afoot in the world, especially with countries like Russia and China, to move to more of a real asset-based currency for trade, backing currencies with things like gold and oil. So that will continue to be a supportive factor for the price of the precious metals, gold and silver, as we move throughout the rest of the year. Now, I don't have a crystal ball. Who knows what can happen? But when you add it all up, the macro environment sure looks positive for the price of gold and silver. I appreciate you joining me here in Ron's Basement. If you could subscribe to my channel, that would be great. And don't forget, even if you're already subscribed, press that bell notification button and turn on notifications. That way, every day when I release a video, you'll get notified and you won't miss a thing. Again, thank you for being here. I'm always happy to have you in the basement. And until next time, yes, you, be well.